Welcome to another playthrough of Marvel United. I'm using the Vassal module I designed, and this time we're going to be playing against Taskmaster. The heroes that I've selected are Ant-Man and Captain Marvel. I actually chose these heroes with the help of AI. I asked the AI which two core set heroes are recommended to play against Taskmaster, and it said Ant-Man and Captain Marvel. Ant-Man because of his versatility and mobility, and his deck has a balanced mix of move, attack, and heroic actions. Captain Marvel because she excels at clearing locations and dealing with Taskmaster's crisis tokens. Her photon blast allows her to attack from an adjacent location, and her deck includes multiple attack and heroic actions, which are crucial for clearing tokens. Now, I'm still learning how each hero plays. So for now, I'm playing the easy mode where I keep all the wild actions. So let's jump in, see how we do. Okay, I have the game all set up here to play against Taskmaster with two heroes, Ant-Man and Captain Marvel, like I said. Now, before we get started, I did have a couple of thoughts about Marvel United. Specifically, these thoughts relate to this base core set and what's included in it, not further expansions and things that have extra features and different rules, just the basic stuff here. A lot of what I've seen online says if you're going to play multi-handed solo like this, the best is 3 heroes. And I thought, well, why 3 heroes? Because if you think about the commander solo mode, that's one main hero and a deck made up of supporting cards, but it turns out to be numerically the same. One hero with 12 cards, and your supporting deck is 12 cards. Same with 2 heroes playing multi-handed solo like this. I think the reason they're saying that the sweet spot is 3 heroes. I think this is for a specific reason. First of all, if you're using, let's say you're using one hero, what does that do? That gives you, in essence, 12 cards or 12 turns. Only 12 turns to defeat your villain. If you're using 2 heroes, then of course you double that and you now have 24 turns. So you have more ability to accomplish your goals because you have more game turns. If you go to 3, well, obviously then you're pushing it up to 36 game turns. So unless the villain is really, really rough, it's going to be a lot easier to defeat them because you have more turns available to you as a player to get it done. That's one reason also that I chose with my 2 players to leave in the wild cards, simply because I want to have all the edge I can get because I only have 2 players. Anyway, those are just a couple of thoughts before we get started. But let's go ahead and get this one underway. Let's start off with a die roll to see where we're going to start Taskmaster. And it looks like this is going to be in number 3. So let's put Taskmaster up here at the police headquarters. Meaning, of course, our heroes now start in number 6. All right, let's see, first of all, what sort of problems our heroes have at that location. Okay, have to have an extra heroic to save a civilian in that spot. All right, let's get started. Let's shuffle up all the cards here. Hit shuffle 2 or 3 times. Try and get a good mix from the stack. Ant-Man's starting hand. Going to be a wild, a heroic, and a punch. And the third card is a couple of heroics. Captain Marvel's first 3 cards. Couple of movement. 2 punches. And 2 more punches. All right. Shuffle up Taskmaster and let's get that started. First card. We have 2 movement, a BAM, and some civilians. So let's start out moving Taskmaster twice, which puts Taskmaster here at Times Square. And then, let's see, that was civilians, correct? Yes. So we're adding a civilian to that location. We're adding one to this side, and we're going to add one to number 6 as well. All right. Now, it seems to me like in this particular scenario with Taskmaster, the thing that would really help is to get rid of these threat cards because they do limit us on moving, limit us on rescuing the civilians or defeating the thugs. So let's draw our first card for Ant-Man. And it's one of the abilities. It's the Shrink, where you can't take any damage with a wild. But like I said, I think I'm going to start by trying to get rid of this particular threat card. Let's do this one, the double heroic. We'll make that Ant-Man's first turn. 1 and 2 heroics. All right, draw a card for Captain Marvel. And we have a couple more heroics. Let's see what we need from her. If we get rid of that particular threat, then the civilians won't cost as much to rescue. So if I used a double heroic there, that would give me 4. Let's do that. Let's do a double heroic with her, which gives us 1 to take out the threat card. And we'll take the threat token. Whoops. We'll take the threat token and move it there. Then we still have a couple of heroics left. So let's save the civilians here. All right, what do we have here for our end of turn? Let's take a look. Move Captain Marvel out of the way. You can discard a card from your hand, bottom, and clear a crisis token. Oh, that's one thing we forgot to do, didn't we? Taskmaster did a BAM on us, so let's put a crisis token in that location. All right, now it will be Ant-Man's turn, and we have a couple of heroics here. Heroics don't do us much good unless we can go somewhere else to use them. Let's draw Ant-Man's next card. It's a punch. And we have no... Well, we do have a wild for a movement, which might not be a bad idea, plus her 2 heroics. We move. We can either... There. Let's do that. Let's take this wild. And we will make it a heroics. Let's do that. use that wild, and let's move Ant-Man up here. Then we've got 2 heroics, which means we can rescue this civilian, or we can start getting rid of this threat. We're not in trouble for an overflow here. So let's put a couple of heroics on this threat card. All right, now back to our buddy Taskmaster. What do we have going on now? Not going anywhere, all right. But we add a civilian to Taskmaster's location for each star at the bottom of the last 2 hero cards in the storyline. We've got a couple of heroic actions that we just used, so there's 2. We have to add 2 to where, well, we can add 1. But now we have an overflow, which means drop another crisis token. All right, we are up to, what did we have last? We had that wild, and it is her turn. Getting these cards all messed up here. And that was, right, that was wild from Ant-Man. Well, there's 1 thug there she can get rid of. She could punch. 2 punches doesn't do her any good. 2 movement doesn't do much good. A movement and a heroic. Okay, let's do that. Let's do a movement and her heroic, and then she also has that wild. So the wild is going to take out this thug. Here's the movement up to Ant-Man. And let's do another heroic. So we'll drop a heroic action here. Clear this off. Get rid of this threat. And move the threat token down. What do we have here for an end of turn? You may draw cards until you have 3 in your hand. Well, that's not a problem at this point. All right, let's go with Mr. Ant-Man. Another heroic plus wild. Heroic and a punch, plus then, let's see. I'm going to move him. Let's see, what have we got? That and a heroic. Let's move him. And let's use her heroic to save another civilian. And Ant-Man is going to... doesn't do us much good. Let's drop a heroic on that spot. Okay. Back to Captain Marvel. Okay, Photon Blast. Could use that to take out 1 of these thugs. Basically, she's got a lot of blasting and movement. Well, I think what we're going to do is we're going to do... Boy, this is not so great. Wild. Okay, she's going to follow him. She's going to use his wild to move. And we're going to give her, I guess, a couple of punches, because that's what she does. And she will take out one of these thugs. All right, Taskmaster, what you got now? Moving to and bamming. So 1, 2, bam with a crisis token. No heroes to get any damage. But we have thugs all around here. Let's take a look. We can add a thug here. We can here. And we're wide open down here. All right, that's it for Taskmaster's turn. Who's up now? Looks like Ant-Man. Grab another card. And they're both sitting here, number 2. But we could use this. What did, he had 2 punches. Okay, let's do that. Let's use his heroics. 2 heroics to here, so we're going to get rid of this threat. Move this down. And now he has a couple of punches available. Let's take out these 2 thugs here. What do we have for end of turn? Discard a card and your storyline. All right. That is it for Ant-Man. Bring out another Captain Marvel here. Oh, we have her double wild. And we have his. Worry about these crisis tokens. All right, she could move and use one of Ant-Man's heroics to pull him out. That what I picked was, yes, the move. Got another move and another heroic. I might just leave her right there with Taskmaster. All right. Ooh, this is good. Move and then 3 punches. Couple of moves and 3 punches. Let's do it this way. Plus, oh, she had 2 moves, didn't she? So we could use her 2 moves. Let's see. Let's move. Two moves, a punch, and a heroic. All right, that'll work. That'll work. Let's do this one. 2 moves, a punch, and a heroic. So our first move is here. We're going to punch the bad guy. We're going to use the heroic to get rid of that. And we have another move still. So let's move back down here. Man, this one's not as good as I wanted it to be. Let's move some of these cards out of the way. All right, this was our last one played. Wow, 5. Which puts him 2, 3, 4 down here with Ant-Man. Fortunately, no Bam, but he's gonna load us up a civilian and a thug on each of the locations. So let's get a thug and a civilian. Civilian, thug. Oh, and this is overflowed, so my goodness gracious. I got 3 crises down here. Gonna have to deal with that. All right. So we have a bunch of those. All right, gal, give us something good here. More photon blast, but we have a move. Choose her double wild, which will give us 2 wilds. Blast the double wild. Gonna move her down 1, 2. Wild, then a. Yeah, let's do this. Let's start getting rid of this threat that's here. All right. Ant-Man is there with Taskmaster. 2 wilds. Let's do this. Use the 2 wilds. This one. This one. And the heroic going here. All right. We're getting there. Slowly. Back to Captain Marvel. Wild. Now we really have to start working on clearing up this spot of hers. We've got to get these people cleared out. Let's use Ant-Man's. Let's use that from Ant-Man to start here. He also has a movement, but actually takes her 2 movements to get out of there. So let's give her. What do we have in adjacent locations from her? Okay, let's do that. Let's use a photon blast on her. So we'll blast this guy. And we're going to blast these 2. Now I know that causes us a problem now with Taskmaster. So we'll blast this one and he's gone. Now Taskmaster's coming back out again. If there are no heroes, but there is a hero, so no crisis tokens. All right. Okay. We've got a punch from Captain Marvel. Let's see what we bring out here. We really have to get this business over there, Times Square, cleared up. Okay, he has a move, couple moves, and then 3. Well, we got to save those civilians. There's nothing to punch where she is. Let's go ahead and use this wild. And let's at least move Ant-Man over to the same location. Okay. Another blast here, which doesn't really do any good, the photon blast. We have to kind of use her wild. Well, let's do it. Let's use her wild and Ant-Man's wild and take care of this threat. We'll get rid of that. Okay. And we may now rescue end of turn from this location. All right. So here comes Taskmaster again. He's getting a lot of these zero movements here. Well, we have to add a thug for each of the last two hero cards. Did we have any punches? No. Okay, so we don't have to do that. That's good. All right, there's a wild. Let's draw an Ant-Man card. Two wilds. And her wild. By golly, that means we can get rid of, we can take all of these out. All three. Nice. And then we get to draw another card. Just going to kind of put that there. Wow, we're in trouble. I don't know if we're going to make it here or not. So we got this wild and this one. Here's our hand for Ant-Man. It is Ant-Man's turn, but it's going to take one. Look at that. It's going to take 3 to get rid of those crisis tokens. And hers was a wild. Now if I play wilds here, that's 3. Well, you can't do that though. Let me check something. We don't have anything that's going to, except for punches, but it's Ant-Man's turn. I guess we could, well, I'd like to do this, except move and then move. Okay, and then 3 punch. Let's, okay, fine. We'll do that. And her wild. So we're first going to move once. Then we'll move back. And we'll take 3 punches and take out these crisis tokens. All right. Boy, we're running out of cards here fast. And it is our buddy Taskmaster's turn again. No, wait a minute. It's not yet. It's Captain Marvel's. But we're at the point now where we can start clobbering on Taskmaster. So let's use her photon blast. We have a movement there. Is that what we got here? Yeah. Let's do 2 and an adjacent. So we'll take out 1 and 2, and Taskmaster is gone. Holy cow. We didn't have many turns left, did we? Anyway, that was a little rough and not the smoothest gameplay, but it was fun.